Welcome to Biggest Spoilars, the destination for exclusive spoilers, latest updates.
General Hospital spoilers for Thursday, February 5th, reveal that Willow Kane will shock Drew Kane while Harrison Chase's preoccupation continues. Michael Corinthos will also have some news for Carly Spencer and Sonny Corinthos, so there'll be a lot passing in Port Charles. First, on Thursday's GH occasion, Trina Robinson will rant to Kai Taylor about Willow and contend they don't know what she's able of. Taylor may have enterprises about Willow spending further time around Wiley Corinthos and Amelia Corinthos, especially if Kai admits he suspects Willow might have ever caused Drew's stroke. At GH, Willow will talk to Elizabeth Baldwin about Drew belonging at home with her. Liz may wonder if Willow's sure she can handle that, but Willow will contend that she's the only bone who can give Drew what he needs right now. Of course, Willow has a part-time caregiver for Drew who'll be helping her out, but she'll be in charge of his care and will take great pleasure in watching him suffer. Although Drew can't speak or move on his own, he's apprehensive of everything going on around him. Willow's going to shock Drew in Thursday's occasion, so she may intimately bewail to him about getting down with shooting him and advise that he's no way getting out of that bed. Over with Michael, he'll give Carly and Sonny updates on the concession he reached with Willow, which involves a 60-40 guardianship split in his favor. Michael will contend the volition to making this agreement was inferior, so it had to put it to rest. Sonny should suppose this concession is a good thing, but Carly may not be so sure. Carly may advise that Willow can't be trusted, which is true since she just set Michael up by putting that redundant key to Drew's place on his keychain. As for Harrison Chase, he may hear about the guardianship concession as well and lash out about it not being enough. Chase may suppose Willow deserves a 50-50 split or indeed full guardianship since he believes Michael shot Drew. Brooke Lynn will get fed up with Chase on Thursday's show, so she'll eventually demand to know why he can't just let this go. There'll be a big blow-up between Chase and Brooke Lynn since he'll feel fixated on Willow again. In Alexis Davis's office, she'll get a visit from Curtis Ashford. Curtis will be looking for some backing, so he may interrogate about his legal options when it comes to forcing Portia Robinson into a maternity test. Alexis may admit that'd be a challenge before the baby's born and prompt him to let Portia do this on her own time. Portia has made it clear that she's willing to get a DNA test ultimately, so Alexis may push Curtis to just be patient. General Hospital spoilers say Curtis will distract himself with some romantic time with Jordan Ashford in the coming occurrences, so stay tuned. Lulu stops into Bobby's to pick up 2 coffees and runs into Nathan. They sputter about being trapped together. He hopes they're still musketeers, and she says they are. Still, both admit that avoiding their passions will be tough. Nina confides in Albrecht. Nina and Albrecht return home from the yoga plant, and Nina informs her aunt that Willow has had Drew packed back home so she can take care of him. Nina is an addict of the idea but has to support her son the stylist she can, given that their relationship is still fragile. Albrecht tells Nina, as the mama, that it's her job to tell her child the hard trueness they don't want to hear, and that this is a bad idea. Nathan turns to Nina for advice. Nathan stops by latterly, after Albrecht has gone, and tells Nina about the kiss with Lulu and his passions for her. What started as a fellowship and cling over participated circumstances has turned into commodity more. Still, there are problems, and Nina knows one would be Maxie. Nathan says he knows Maxie has moved on and has no intention of snooping in her life with Spinelli and the kiddies when she wakes up. Nina asks if it's possible he's interested in Lulu as a way to feel closer to Maxie, but Nathan insists that isn't the case. Still, they agreed this can't go anywhere, but it doesn't change how they feel. Willow and Michael come to an agreement at Alexis' office. Michael and Willow arrive to meet with Rick and Alexis to bandy a guardianship concession. Michael explains that Diane is in court and that Rick is only then to help grease an agreement. Rick explains that if they go back to family court, it could be a time or two before a decision is made, and neither will get the outgrowth they might want. Alexis suggests that's why they come to an agreement. Willow doesn't see why, given that Michael is dating a cocotte and about to be charged with tried murder. Effects look enough good for her. Alexis tells Willow, unfortunately, there are arguments to be made against her, including being married to Drew, who's the main suspect right now in Judge Herring's lucre and murder. So no judge will give her half guardianship or indeed full guardianship. The stylish move is to compromise. Willow asks Michael what he's immolation. Michael offers visits on weekends, but she wants participated guardianship. Alexis suggests a 60-40 participated guardianship for now, in Michael's favor. Willow defenses herself to suppose about it. Alexis apologizes to Michael for what she did to him in court. Outside the office, Willow snags Michael's keys from his jacket and puts Tracy's key to Drew's house on his keyring. Laura receives callers at Laura's office. Joss interviews the mayor for Academy Design, and as she puts her laptop back in her bag, she takes Faison's book out and places it on her office. Laura asks where she got that. Joss claims she picked it up at the library as the woman on the cover looks just like Anna. Laura says it's Anna, and explains that Faison wrote the book as he was infatuated with Devane. She gives the undercover WSB agent a quick history assignment on Faison. Lulu stops by, latterly to see her mama with the coffees and to get advice regarding Nathan. She filled her mama in on what happened during the storm, and while they agreed nothing could be, she's doubtful she can stay down from him. Lulu admits that being with Nathan feels like she'd be betraying Maxie, and it could affect Nathan's relationship with Dante. Jason fills Sunny in. Jason drops by Sunny's and informs him about the trouble Anna is in, and that she's convinced Faison is alive. He also shares indeed bigger news, informing him that Britt has verified that Sidwell and WSB director Cullum are forcing her to work on Faison's final design. Sunny wants Cullum surveilled to learn his routine so they can take him out, as he's responsible for the bombing of his extension. Jason says they ain't yet. He explains Cullum is holding Britt's meds, so if Cullum dies, so does Britt. Joss seeks answers. Joss heads to Bobby's and spots Albrecht. She flags her down to ask her about the book she's reading, and tries to learn further about Faison, including his nasty smoking habit. Albrecht cuts to the chase and asks what she wants. Joss explains she set up the book at Windmere, but Albrecht isn't surprised, as Caesar formerly lived there. Joss explains it has a necrology to his poet, and was near a pack of cigarillos. Albrecht notes that Faison's only muse was Anna. Is Anna mentally stable? In France, Felicia, Mac, and Emma speak with Dr. Laurent outside the room where Anna is being kept. The croaker explains Anna is veritably fragile and must remain calm. Felicia and Mac head in to check on Anna, who begs them to get her out so she can stop Faison. Anna is easily agitated, and Mac asks her to explain what happened, as the last time they heard, she was on a WSB charge. Anna tells them there was no way a charge, she was abducted. She details everything that happened, including Albrecht treating her blood cancer, Peter's visit, and Faison riding her over an intercom before appearing to her. Anna goes on to say that she was lately knocked out, tied up, and put in the box of a auto. She managed to escape, set up a planter, and got him to call the police. When the officer would adhere to her and seized her, she artificially fought back. Now she's in a clinic with Faison out there, so she must stop him. Felicia and Mac go outdoors to modernize the croaker. And Emma about Anna's claims. Felicia believes Anna's had a break, and Mac asks when they can take her home, but the croaker says she's not going anywhere. The croaker explains Anna still has to resolve the assault charges against her, and right now Anna knows where she is, which grounds her. Emma won't leave until she sees her grandma for herself. When Emma goes in to see her grandmother, Anna freaks out. Anna rattles on that Faison is alive, and Emma can't be then, as he'll go after her. Emma is reduced to gashes by Anna's state. In the show's final moments in Laura's office, Laura tells her son that she knows better than anyone that they don't control who they fall for. She tells Lulu she's still getting her life back on track, so take it laggardly, but flash back that she deserves to be happy too. Indeed, if it's with Nathan. Nathan tells Nina the situation with Lulu is also more complicated, given that Dante is his stylish friend. Nina tells him that if his heart is telling him to go for it with Lulu, also trust it. He decides to do that. In Alexis' office, Willow accepts the guardianship terms suggested by Alexis, so Alexis says she'll draw up the papers. At Sunny's, Jason explains that they need to get their hands on Britt's meds so Britt can reverse wangle them. Sunny says they've an advantage right now as Sidwell and Cullum don't know they're onto them, and the timepiece is ticking. Jason promises that as soon as Britta's in the clear, Cullum is dead. At Bobby's, Joss entertains Albrecht's idea that the book is from the 90s, but not the cigarillos, so what's this, someone impersonating him? Albrecht says that, or perhaps an addict is emulating him. At the French clinic, as Anna becomes unglued over the fact that Emma's being there puts her in peril, Mac, Felicia, the croaker, and a nanny enter. The croaker and the nanny sedate Anna as Mac and Felicia drag a screaming and crying Emma out on the coming general hospital. Trina worries to Kai about what Willow could be able of doing next. Plus, Brooklyn asks Chase, why wouldn't you let this go? Check out further spoilers for all detergents for Thursday, February 5th. Port Charles never rests, and Thursday, February 5th, proves it once again. The city is a cauldron of secrets, obsession, and dangerous intentions, a place where love and fear collide and no one truly knows who will emerge victorious, or broken. This week, the spotlight falls on Willow Kane, whose quiet menace and controlling instincts threaten to shatter everything around her, particularly the fragile life of Drew Kane, who remains trapped in a body that no longer obeys him. While some residents try to hold on to reason and balance, others are being drawn into storms of temptation, betrayal, and looming consequences that refuse to be ignored. In the early hours of the day, Trina Robinson finds herself venting to Kai Taylor, her frustration spilling over like water from a dam. She's terrified of Willow and unsettled by what she might do next. Trina senses the danger Willow presents to the children she's entrusted with, Wiley Corinthos and Amelia Corinthos. Kai is uneasy too, struggling with suspicions he can barely articulate. Could Willow have been involved in Drew's stroke? And if so, what lengths will she go to now? The answer isn't comforting, and both wonder if the darkness they fear is about to spill fully into the light. Meanwhile, Willow sits across from Elizabeth Baldwin, arguing with calm authority about Drew's care. She insists that only she can provide for him, that no one else understands his needs, and that her control is essential. Elizabeth questions her judgment, but Willow's resolve is unshakable. She even has a part-time caregiver in place, but make no mistake, Willow is in charge, and her pleasure in the arrangement is evident. Drew may be unable to speak or move, but every thought and fear passing through him is visible to Willow. And in a chilling turn, she makes it clear, Drew will remain in that bed, powerless, as she gleefully surveys her triumph. This is the dark side of survival, a woman baptized in her own ruthless convictions, asserting dominion over life, health, and autonomy. Elsewhere, Michael Corinthos carries another burden. He sits with Carly Spencer and Sonny Corinthos, delivering news about a compromise with Willow, a 60-40 custody split in his favor. He explains that alternatives were simply unacceptable and that reaching this agreement was the only viable path forward. Sonny nods, seeing wisdom in compromise, but Carly remains skeptical. She knows Willow's dangerous nature, and her warning is blunt: the woman cannot be trusted. And she's right, Willow has already manipulated the situation, slipping an extra key to Drew's house onto Michael's keyring, a subtle act that could have massive consequences. Harrison Chase, meanwhile, hears of the custody arrangement and reacts not with relief, but outrage. In his eyes, Willow deserves more, perhaps even equal custody, because he believes Michael is guilty of shooting Drew. His fixation on Willow drives him into a tense confrontation with Brooklyn, whose patience finally snaps. "Why can't you let this go?" she demands, her voice echoing the frustration of anyone caught in the whirlpool of obsession and unhealed wounds. The argument is fierce, charged, and unpredictable, a mirror to the chaos percolating through the city. Meanwhile, Alexis Davis's office becomes a hub of strategy and emotion. Curtis Ashford arrives, seeking guidance on pursuing a paternity test for Portia Robinson's child. Alexis warns that forcing the issue before the baby's born could be unwise and counsels patience. Curtis reluctantly accepts her advice, though his focus is soon drawn elsewhere. Moments of romance with Jordan Ashford, a fleeting reprieve from the pressures threatening to engulf him. In a city where trust is fragile, these small connections offer a rare balm for weary hearts. Back in Port Charles, Lulu Spencer stops by Bobby's to pick up coffee and runs into Nathan West. Their conversation is light-hearted at first, but the tension beneath it is palpable. They acknowledge the magnetic pull between them, and while they claim to remain friends, both know the truth. Suppressing their feelings is becoming increasingly impossible. Nathan and Lulu are walking a knife's edge, each aware that their hearts are betraying them even as they try to be cautious. Meanwhile, Nina Reeves shares a quiet but important moment with her aunt, Liesl Albrecht, revealing that Willow has returned Drew home under her care. Nina is uneasy, recognizing the danger in allowing Willow such intimate access to her grandson, but her role as a mother forces her to tread carefully. Albrecht offers pragmatic advice: sometimes, a parent must speak hard truths to protect a child, even when it risks conflict. Nina's hesitation is understandable. Her bond with Willow is delicate, but the responsibility for Drew's welfare weighs heavily on her. Nathan, too, seeks guidance from Nina, revealing his feelings for Lulu. What began as camaraderie has evolved into something more, though the shadow of Maxie's coma complicates matters. Nathan insists that his feelings for Lulu are genuine, not a proxy for his past connection with Maxie, yet both understand that acting on them carries consequences. Their hearts are aligned, but the world around them remains treacherous, and the stakes, emotional and legal, are higher than ever. Meanwhile, in Alexis' office, Michael and Willow meet with Rick Lansing to finalize custody negotiations. Diane Miller is unavailable, leaving Rick to mediate. He warns that dragging the matter into family court could take years, producing uncertain results. Alexis stresses that compromise is the most pragmatic route, yet Willow hesitates. She scoffs at Michael's criminal accusations and romantic entanglements, seeing herself as the true architect of Drew's care. Alexis counters, reminding Willow of legal realities. Drew is considered a minor under suspicion of his father's involvement in criminal activity, and no judge would likely grant Willow full custody. The solution, Alexis advises, is a 60-40 split favoring Michael. Willow takes a moment to contemplate this, excusing herself to weigh the ramifications in private. It's outside that office, however, where Willow executes a subtle yet calculated move. She removes Michael's keys from his jacket and slips in Tracy Quartermain's key to Drew's home. A small act, perhaps, but one that demonstrates her cunning and hints at the lengths she will go to assert control over her world. She has mastered the art of quiet manipulation, and no one fully realizes how much danger this poses, not yet. Meanwhile, in Laura Collins' office, Jocelyn Jacks pursues a personal investigation, bringing Caesar Faison's book into play. She questions Laura about the origins and the infamous pseudonym P.K. Sinclair, learning the dark history of Faison's obsession with Anna Devane. While the book and its inscriptions appear innocuous, they are loaded with past danger, carrying echoes of deception, obsession, and unfinished business. These small details remind viewers that in Port Charles, even seemingly harmless objects can harbor treacherous secrets. Back at Bobby's, Lulu confides in her mother about Nathan, seeking guidance in navigating complicated emotions. Her heart is torn between loyalty to Maxie and the undeniable connection she feels with Nathan. Laura offers support, counseling patience, and self-reflection, emphasizing that happiness can coexist with careful consideration of consequences. Nathan, similarly, receives counsel from Nina, who urges him to trust his heart despite the complicated web surrounding them. Love is fragile in Port Charles, but it persists, testing boundaries and challenging everyone involved. Across town, Jason Morgan updates Sonny Corinthos on the escalating threats involving Anna Devane. She is convinced that Faison is alive, and he is, in fact, manipulating Britt Westbourne to continue work on his last project alongside WSB director Cullum and Jen Sidwell. Sonny considers striking Cullum, but Jason reminds him that Britt's life is at stake. Eliminating Cullum prematurely could be fatal for her. Strategy and morality collide here, the desire for justice versus the need to protect the innocent. Timing, patience, and careful planning are paramount. Jocelyn continues her investigation, questioning Liesl Albrecht at Bobby's. She asks about Faison's habits, his obsession, and the enigmatic inscription in the book she discovered. Albrecht confirms that Anna was his only muse, but Jocelyn wonders if someone is imitating Faison. Albrecht entertains the possibility, acknowledging that fans can be strange, obsessive, and frighteningly devoted. This subplot emphasizes the pervasive threat of manipulation and deception in Port Charles, where appearances rarely reflect the truth. In France, the story grows darker still. Felicia, Mac, and Emma Scorpio face the fragility of Anna Devane's mental state at a local clinic. Dr. Laurent warns that Anna must remain calm and cannot be moved until legal matters regarding her recent altercation are resolved. Anna insists that she was kidnapped, forced to endure trauma, and manipulated by Liesl Albrecht and Peter August. She recounts being chloroformed, tied up, and left in a car trunk, narrowly escaping thanks to the aid of a local farmer. Now, she is isolated, under constant surveillance, and desperate to prevent Faison from harming anyone else. Felicia and Max struggle with the blurred lines between Anna's trauma and potential mental instability, weighing what is real against what may be a manifestation of psychological stress. Emma, refusing to be separated from her grandmother, enters the room, only to be met with Anna's panic and terror. Faison's shadow looms large in Anna's mind, and she insists Emma must leave for her own safety. Tears and frustration collide as Emma pleads to stay, highlighting the intense bond between granddaughter and grandmother. The clinic staff intervene to sedate Anna, removing Emma and leaving her in distress, while Felicia and Mac process the magnitude of the situation. Anna's trauma, Willow's manipulation, and Port Charles's interwoven dangers converge into a tense tableau of peril, care, and betrayal. Thursday's episode closes on multiple cliffhangers. Willow has exerted control, but the full consequences of her actions are yet to be revealed. Nathan and Lulu's emotions teeter on the brink of confession and indiscretion. Michael navigates the treacherous landscape of legal compromise, caught between his children, his morality, and the machinations of those around him. Anna remains trapped in France, her mind and body battered, her will tested against unseen threats. Faison's legacy, real or perceived, continues to exert influence. Every character faces a baptism of fire, an emotional trial where strength, patience, and cunning will determine who survives intact and who is forever changed. As the sun sets over Port Charles, one thing is certain: Thursday, February 5th, is only the beginning. Hearts will break, truths will emerge, and threats will transform into tangible consequences. In a city where love, obsession, and vengeance intermingle, the line between salvation and destruction is thinner than ever. Every decision carries weight, every whisper could become a declaration, and every secret threatens exposure. Port Charles braces itself, for in this town, the calm is never guaranteed, and the storm is only just beginning.